With everything going on in the world, and I guess especially this country, is it time we are deported back to where we originate from? Where'd you come from?
I come from.
You come from Birmingham.
I come from Birmingham, mate. No. Ethnically, obviously Indian.
Yeah.
I come from Gujarat. Mom was born in Kenya. Dad was born in India.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mom come in the 60s. My dad came in 1992.
Your dad came in 92?
Yeah.
That was a bit late.
Yeah. He got married to my mom in 84. And yeah.
But they live separate?
Yeah, mom would travel back and forth to India.
No way.
Yeah. Then
But you were born in what?
91. So yeah, my dad.
So you was born and your dad was in a different country?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he didn't see me for. I don't believe he saw me for like my first 6 months or something.
But why was that?
Because he just didn't have the visa to come
Oh,
over.
really?
Yeah.
But I thought when he got married to your mom, he would have.
I'm not too sure regarding the whole details.
Okay.
But yeah, he didn't actually come over till 92. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Well, what's your background?
Well, I'm Indian like you, but I'm from Punjab, from the north. Religious-wise, I'm Sikh, so a lot of Sikh people are from Punjab. So yeah, all my grandparents were born there in India, in Punjab. My parents were actually born here, so slightly different to you. So I grew up with both of them here from the beginning. They weren't really traveling back and forth in the same way.
So when did your grandparents come over?
So I'm close with my dad's grandparents because obviously they live closer to me. So when I refer to my grandparents, I'm gonna just speak from them because I know their background better. But my granddad came in the early 1950s.
The 1950s, okay.
Yeah. I think mid 1950s. Yeah.
Straight from Punjab.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my grandma, she came as well early 1950s. I think she came before my granddad though, because she came on a ship. It took a couple of weeks to get here on a ship. But my granddad, I think he came by plane. He didn't come by ship. I think planes had started early 1950s.
So your granddad come first?
Yeah, my grandma actually came first.
Your grandma come first.
Grandma came first on a ship. She was like 14, 15 years old, which is, crazy.
Yeah.
When I think about it, and they met in London, got married.
Okay.
Settled in East London and been there ever since.
So did she come by herself or with her?
With her family.
With her family.
With her family.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, the crazy thing is that my granddad was actually born in what is called now Pakistan. He actually wasn't born on the Indian side, because obviously before the partition,
Punjab was massive.
He was actually born because Punjab is split in half. Between half of it is in Pakistan now, and half of it is in India now. And one of the crazy things about that is that my great granddad actually fought for the British Army. So he was like, I don't know exactly what role, but he was involved with the British Army. So the night that partition kind of got announced and was happening, he came to pick up my granddad and his siblings in an armored vehicle, and obviously took them across to India at that time, because Pakistan was given to Muslims.
Yep.
India was given to Hindus, and as Sikhs we didn't really have like a dedicated land for.
So you decided to settle on the India side.
And a lot of Sikhs essentially done that. I'm not very well versed in Sikh history and Indian history in general. Like, I'm not gonna act like I know it, but yeah, that's what I do know. And yeah, that's the thing I think about. I'm technically on today's borders. Am I not Pakistani from that point of view? Technically, on today's borders, I am.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to kind of think about.
But to be honest with you, you should see it as all India. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was one land.
Before there was a line. Before borders were created. But I think it's important to kind of know why the history basically, because obviously today's topic is, should we be deported?
Yeah.
Right. To really know the history of why there are a large Indian population in the UK stems back from it's a very long story.
There's a lot of context to
Yeah.
I thought was actually what's happened over the last, my grandparents came in the 50s, your dad came in the 90s. It's like, it is a wide span of time where this has kind of happened.
Yeah. But like a lot of, so just a bit of background. As I mentioned, my mom was born in Kenya. A lot of Indians were brought over. So Britain colonized the UK, Uganda, Tanzania.
Britain colonized India.
Sorry. Yes, sorry, apologies. Britain colonized India, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, right?
Yeah.
So in the early 1900s, I think it was about 1907. Don't state me on the facts. Don't state me on the exact date. Sorry. Basically, they wanted to build the train lines in Uganda going to Kenya.
Okay.
So obviously they need labourers.
Yeah.
So the British, let me put that over here. Got a load of labourers from India over to Kenya and Uganda.
Yeah.
Right. Then, literally about 30,000 it was. Then to build the railway systems. Then once the railway systems were built, a lot of people died during that period. So from that 30,000, there was about 7,000 left. So a lot of people died to accidents. There was a lot of disease and animal attacks.
Wild animals.
The wild animals. Scary, right? Then, once rail tracks were done, a lot of Indians decided to stay. Then they brought over their own families, saying, actually, let's settle in Kenya.
So did your mum's family
settle in Kenya?
So is it like your mum's ancestors came to build the railways, or did they kind of bring your mum's family over? Do you know that part?
So I don't know my specific family history, but the history of how Kenyans ended up in India, I'm assuming that's
it just came.
That's the reason why my mom and her parents ended up in Kenya. So yeah, they'd come, and a lot of Indians started businesses and really thriving in Kenya and Uganda. Then so when they came over, they come over with British Indian passports, so they obviously need documentation to travel over,
Is that from India to Kenya or from Kenya to here?
To India to Kenya.
Okay.
Right. Then, in 1948, just after the World War, I believe, basically a lot of Britain needs to rebuild the UK again.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So they called a lot of people within the Commonwealth to immigrate to the UK.
Yeah, I think that's what's literally with my grandparents, with them coming over in the 50s. Obviously, World War II ended in the mid-1940s. So
45.
So they needed labour to come and build the country, the economy back again.
Yeah, literally.
And literally, my granddad came, and my granddad came from India, and when he started working in this country, he told me the story. He worked 7 days a week.
Yeah.
7 days a week. And do you know the only time he stopped that when I was born? And he's 91 now, so he was 60, 61. So only at 60, 61 did he stop working 7 days a week, which I think is crazy.
Yeah, my parents retired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They worked 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Like half days, 5 a.m. till 6:30 every day. Sunday was 1:30, so half a day on Sunday.
Yeah.
Only day off in the year they would get, because obviously they need to run their own shop.
Yeah.
Was Christmas Day, so. But anyway, going back to the history, so in 1948, they gave the UK government gave everybody the citizens of the United Kingdom colony basically a British passport.
Right.
So they would be able to immigrate to the country. But then in early 1950s, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, basically, they all got independence. So, as I mentioned before, a lot of these Indian businesses that were thriving
Yeah.
really kind of became restricted. And as these countries got independence, they really wanted to promote African people
Yeah.
doing well and promoting their businesses and kind of reducing Indian businesses and so forth. So that's why people started immigrating more.
Yeah.
Then, that's my mom and her family all come in the 1960s. Then in the 1970s, you had a lot of people from Uganda come in because of Idi Amin. So Idi Amin, right, gave all Indians in Uganda 30 days to leave the country.
Was he the prime minister?
Yeah, he was basically a dictator,
Okay.
right? You get 30 days, leave what you got, leave everything, your properties, whatever you have, you got 30 days to leave, basically. So a lot of people fled to like Kenya. Then obviously they had the CUKC passport, and so a lot of people
Came to the UK.
Came to the UK from that. So it's quite a long history, and lots of a lot of people have different paths of getting here, basically. But I think it's very important to know why there is a big Indian community. Yeah.
I would like to say I'm legally allowed to be here.
Oh yes,
They came legally.
Yes.
By legal means, we didn't, take any boats across the English Channel, got smuggled, got trafficked. Like, we came here.
Well, we're born here.
Well, our families, came here via the correct means.
Yeah, but they still came on boats.
Yeah, but legally. Okay,
you say that, right? But you say people coming over from boats. Okay, so what's the difference between that and people coming over from Uganda being kidnapped by Idi Amin?
Well, I guess they in that instance, the second instance, they're fleeing persecution, because I'm guessing that's the threat. And at that time of Ugandans and Kenyans coming to the UK, they had that kind of corridor for them to travel, given that they've provided their labour services to them. And like you said, there was the C2...
CUKC.
They actually had that formally set up for them, allowed to come into the UK. So there was actually a formal documented process. The difference between now and what we're seeing, and probably segments onto the next section of the state of the UK, is that now what we are seeing is that if people are being persecuted, they should definitely be given safety. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but there is nothing formally set up in the same way of a certain visa, passport or corridor for them to come to the UK formally and be accounted for, to be housed and integrated into society in the same manner. Right now, people are paying smugglers their life savings to get on a small dinghy to come over and land on the shore and hoping for the best. That is a completely different process.
But they're still fleeing from persecution, though, aren't they?
Yeah, and I agree there is. But if someone who's fleeing persecution from, let's say, Asia, there are countries closer between Asia and the UK in between that are safer for them. That are safe for them, but also closer as well. Yeah. They don't need to travel that whole distance all the way
come to the UK.
To come to. There could be another country in Europe, another country in Asia, another country in between, which is potentially safe for them. But yeah, I guess that brings us to where the UK is in all the kind of conversations, and it feels like everything in the news and on social media is very heavy towards this. It's like you can't miss, especially over the last few months, what's been happening in the UK. There's been a lot of protests, a lot of challenge from different sides about how this country
Yeah.
is going. And I feel like there's no doubt that there is some tension within communities and within
Yep.
people living their day-to-day lives. Social media doesn't play a great part in supporting that either, because it is really in your face. And there's a lot of political frustration embedded within it.
Yeah, definitely.
The tension doesn't help when political parties are promising X, Y, Z and they're not delivering on it. And then,
So why do you think there is this kind of tension?
I've made some notes. So I actually want to look at my notes to make sure I convey myself in the correct way, because it is a delicate topic to convey yourself in the correct way. Why do I think this is happening? In my least conspiracy theory way,
Yeah.
I think everything we are seeing now is happening consistently across Western democracies. It's not just the UK, let's say. There's many countries tackling immigration challenges, and you could say wider cost of living, and it goes wider to that. But I think it's pre-planned and intended. I think this is a coordinated and strategic move to destabilize Western democracies.
Okay. Firstly, I've got multiple questions regarding that.
Yeah.
Okay, so firstly,
I don't.
you say it's a strategic move. Strategic move by who?
People above governments who take the world in the direction that they want to take it in. Corporations and people above.
So
I believe they dictate I don't believe governments dictate the direction of a country. I believe there's larger interests above them that take the world in the direction that they see fit.
I thought this was your non-conspiracy theory view.
In the least conspiracy theory.
Okay,
way.
so
I'm trying to not sound like a crazy. If you look at it, you got illegal immigrants. They can't be stopped, but supposedly you provide them top-notch hotels. The wealth gap has increased.
Okay. Firstly, I need to stop you there. Okay, what are these top-notch hotels?
Canary Wharf, Britannia Hotel. Apparently, it's £300 a night there.
There's a Britannia Hotel in Birmingham,
Yeah, I know.
and I know that's a complete dive.
Yeah, I know. It's not a great hotel, but it's
not
still
a-
£300 a night.
Right.
The hotel doesn't look nice. I've seen it, but
So they've been saying holiday inns, travel lodges.
yeah.
Okay, so
I'm not saying the fact that they're staying in the nice hotels. I'm saying the fact that is the government that incompetent that they can't stop these small boats coming across? Are they that with all the technology, with all the money that we have, they can't intercept these boats? You're telling me the people who run our country are that incompetent that they just can't set something up? Think about it, use logic. Just use pure logic.
no,
It's a yes or no answer.
That's a fair point.
Just
Yeah.
pure logic of all the technology and resources and facilities we have. If they claim that it is such an issue, why can't they just intercept and stop? Turn around, go back. Or they stop them and they... Just pure logic, non-political, non-human, just logic.
Okay, so you're saying people are coming to the shore. So to be honest with you, with the boats, I'm not actually that very well. I'm not that knowledgeable about it. So people are coming in boats.
Yeah.
All right. You're saying intercept, turn around.
I'm not
go
saying
back in the
I'm saying that we are no. I'm not saying that is the solution. I'm just saying we as a country and the government, the people who lead us, cannot be that incompetent that they cannot find us a stable solution. And with just going back to the Western democracies, I wouldn't say just because there's illegal boats and immigrants that is why this is happening. The wealth gap has increased. This leads to wider issues.
So what's that to do with these illegal immigrants?
I'm talking in a wider sense to my point, destabilizing Western democracies.
Okay.
It's kind of all coordinated. It's kind of like a wider picture rather than just just migration as such.
Yeah.
In terms of in terms of the current state of affairs of the UK and how everyone is feeling, migration is one topic. The wealth gap increasing, where the rich are increasing their wealth and everyone at the bottom feels like they're getting squeezed.
Yeah.
The middle is kind of been eradicated, where we have this kind of Hunger Games society, I feel.
Yeah.
Economy is tanked. We're in so much debt that people don't even know. We're paying so much interest on our debt every year that no one even knows. And that's not even just the UK. The US is in a similar position.
Yeah.
And then we see the consequences through things like property ownership, people getting to get on the housing market, bills going up, people struggling to survive. Are we that incompetent as a society and the leaders that we have above us as the UK, that everything is just getting worse? Logic, are we like that? Are the people who run our country that incompetent?
Well, I think it goes back to what our previous episode. That's a lot of it is going back to that previous episode. Obviously, yes, there is a growing wealth gap. Completely agree. There needs to be something kind of, but how the housing market again? How do you kind of stabilize that? Unless you're not built, you need to build more houses to keep up with the population, but the population is growing so quickly, it's very difficult to do that. Right? Regarding back to the migrants, there's always been an issue with illegal immigrants throughout the years, since whenever I can remember. But obviously, there has been a significant increase in immigration over the last couple of years, especially since Brexit has happened. So I understand people's concerns, especially undocumented. People need to be checked, vetted, and at the end of the day, coming back to the housing issue, I think a lot of people are getting frustrated because a lot of anger is coming from, there's a wealth gap. People are.
I think it's from the fact that people who live in this country, they pay their taxes, they work hard,
And
they're not getting anything from it. The public services are decreasing, and then on the contrary, they see someone who just lands ashore on a boat, and they supposedly, I don't know how much of this is true, by the way. I'm not just gonna blindly assume that the information I'm told online is accurate, because there is a side where the media want to portray and amplify this to create negativity.
Yep.
But the fact that they can come here, they can get a house or hotel over their head, they can get 3 easy meals a day, and they get technology given to them. And
Okay. Firstly, I need to stop you there. Okay. So it's a part of international treaty, I believe, that an asylum seeker that comes, you need to kind of give them some temporary kind of accommodation and provide them with food.
But are all of them? I'm going to say to you, are all of them asylum seekers? Because, for example, in the pictures and the news that we see, all of them are men of a certain age. I don't see any families or kids really coming in the pictures. We'll go into this in a bit, but the hotels that we see that are being housed across the country, are they families or they're all men? They're all men. You can't
Okay, but
there is it's not families it's not tons of women that need to be looked after and cared for. It is men.
Right, but then going back to the technology aspect, it's not the government that's giving them the technology. It's their charities. There are charitable organisations out there that will give them
iPhones.
I guarantee you're not getting laser.
But how do you know it's charitable? It's coming from our money. It's coming from taxpayer money. To house them.
The housing is, yes, because it's part of. I believe it's part of international treaty. Because giving basic accommodation, and you can't say it's luxurious accommodation. Like at the end of the day, one of them is like a travel holiday inn in Tamworth, right? Like these aren't like 5-star Hilton hotels, right? And giving a 3 standard meals a day is probably basic, like it's human decency, isn't it? Really.
I agree. I'm not saying that people I'm not saying people who seek asylum shouldn't be helped.
Yeah.
I'm the first person to say people who have come from war-torn countries should be provided support. My question is, if the people in the country itself are already struggling, say if you lost your home, for example, your financial situation changed, and you didn't have anywhere to turn to, those people in this country who have lived in this country, who have grown up in this country, contributed to this society, aren't being supported.
I
That is rubbing people up the wrong way.
I agree with that, but
You can't just.
but
where are
the
they
amount
gonna-
of, it's about 0.5% of the GDP is going to this situation. Your biggest issue is people like the benefit system. So okay, the benefit system, like a lot of people aren't contributing to society, and they still are getting quite a bit of you get quite a lot of government handouts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another issue, right?
But they were born in this country. That's the benefit that they have.
Yeah. Okay. No, I
You can't.
agree.
That's a 1 in a trillion chance where you're born. They're born here, and by luck they get that benefit.
But I think we're
My
kind
question.
Well, what's the question? Sorry.
If there was a country, country, 20 million people were fleeing, would you facilitate them in this country?
What, 20 million?
Yeah. When do you say no then? When is your cap? Because you're saying that all of these people should be facilitated.
I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I think it's been obviously it's an issue and it's a concern. Yes. Right. But at the end of the day, like if someone arrives to the country by a method, firstly you need to assess the situation. Right. You can't just be like, get back on this dinghy and just go back to.
But it's not France. Let's say France. France not a safe country. Why do they need to go from France to the UK? France is a beautiful country. There's so many cities that are safe in there.
I know. I understand that point, but
so do you want more of your taxpayer money to support people coming in this country illegally? Yes or no? Would you happily use more of your taxpayer money if someone said to you, Tesh, there's going to be an increase in your tax by 5-10% a year?
Oh yeah,
that's going to support everyone.
If it's increasing my taxes, definitely not.
Tensions are rising between communities, people who live here, people who came here because of the things that we've mentioned and discussed. My personal view is that our leaders cannot be that incompetent to prevent and improve the situation. Yeah. And I think that they are contributing towards it knowingly with the interest of those above them. That's just my opinion, and we will have to agree to disagree.
Okay, so let me just finalise on my point. I agree it is an issue, all right? But I think things are way more complicated than than it actually looks. It's not as simple as, like, you got to turn around. But as you said, we will agree to disagree.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Because this doesn't happen in like one day, 1 year. It's kind of like built up over a period of time. But there are some more significant things that have happened recently that have really shifted society in terms of how everyone is feeling.
Yeah.
I think that the most notable one for me that I remember, I was going to say last summer, was the horrific incident in Southport. Yeah. Which, is absolutely, it sickens me in my stomach what happened to those young children at the performing arts class that they were at. But notably after that, because I believe the rumors, the accusations that the individual who done it shouldn't have been in this country, or they came from a certain background, that sparked these so-called riots in the summer across the country. Yeah. That was the first notable change where it felt people are protesting based on backgrounds of people.
Yep. I noticed it.
We never really had that before.
Yeah.
I think there's always been racism in this and tension between communities in this country. I think it's natural, a part of any.
But it escalated last summer.
If a load of if a load of Indians went to, I don't know, China and just started living there, there's going to be tension between communities,
Yeah.
let's say. Um,
Well, you say that, but to be honest with you, like, I've never, obviously growing up, like, you see bits of racism here and there, but I've never seen, like, tension, like, between people. I think, like, I went to a school where I was the only, I was at, like, a handful of brown people. Like, I think there was like three, right? Yeah, there's never kind of any issues. Like, I still am friends with the same group of friends. I was there. All my friends from back home, they're all white British males. You've met them. They come on my stag do, and like there's never been any kind of tension or anything.
yeah, they're a great bunch of people. Like, even meeting them, you always used to talk about, like, when we was at uni, you used to always talk about your friends from Birmingham. And then recently met them, and yeah, lovely,
Yeah.
lovely guys. And
So personally, I've never felt any kind of tension.
I don't think that there is that outrightly out there. I'm just saying, you know, stories from what I hear from, like, my dad and my granddad, there was like certain areas in London that as a coloured person you would avoid late at night because you don't want to just end up. Now society has definitely evolved. That has been eradicated as such, and like we don't really, there's no such thing for us to really feel it as such. But like when people were coming over, society
in the 60s and 70s, definitely
it was very different.
it was definitely very different. Obviously, a lot more racism then and so forth. But we've been I feel our parents have taken the brunt of that.
Yeah, they have.
But yeah, going back to your point of Southport, yeah, like I do feel like I think the riots were not riots, protests.
Some of them were riots, I believe.
Yeah. You kind of did feel like
it was a bit of a turning point.
Yeah,
I remember I got an email at works, I think, saying if you don't want to come into the office today, work from home, because there was some planned stuff going on in London where people were being told, like, there were just rumors of these kind of things that were happening, and our work openly said to us, don't come into the office, don't people come. It was a bit of a weird situation. But I guess the most notable thing from between that period, I guess, is the migrant hotel situation where, you know, it's come out that there are these migrant hotels that are, you know, rightly or wrongly so, housing asylum seekers who have fled persecution, and the facilities that they have, and British people aren't happy with that. And it's not just white British people. I've seen like people of colour who are British as well also express their disinterest.
You're not happy with it, are you?
Look, I'm not saying I'm not unhappy, but I'm not happy. Like, I don't try to get wound up over political and things that are outside of me. I like to just take control of what I can, personally speaking, because how am I going to frame this? If you are poor and you blame a migrant, it is not their fault. It's your own fault.
Yes.
You are not poor because of a migrant who has come to this country. You are poor because of your suboptimal decisions that you have made in your life. It is a skill issue that you can go out there and make more money.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like, blaming migrants, blaming other people, oh, woe me, woe that, like...
You need to take responsibility for your own actions.
You need to take responsibility and more accountability.
But that's what I'm saying, going back to... Like, sometimes you shouldn't be reliant on the government. Like, you see people, migrants being put up in these hotels. But sometimes you need to take responsibility for your own actions. Be like, actually, at this moment in time, I don't really I pay a tax, but I don't really see much benefit. You are, people need to take responsibility and don't blame. It's as you said, it's
The thing is, with the migrant hotels,
issue.
I understand why people are protesting. It's not like I don't understand why people are. I can understand why they would want to protest. Like, people are coming to this country because, firstly, the incident I want to recall is the Epping one.
Yeah.
Epping is not too far from where I live. And just to give context, I don't know how familiar you are with this, but a guy had come to this hotel. I think he was from like Ethiopia, somewhere in that part of the world. He had come for about a week, and he sexually assaulted a young girl in a way. He tried asking her for sex, a schoolgirl, 13, 14-year-old.
Yeah.
There was that incident that had essentially happened. So this man has come in his first week. He has fled persecution. I'm not going to stereotype and say all of them are like this as well.
Yeah.
But there's been a bit of a so-called consistency with what's come out. Like, these groups, like I said before, it is men of a certain age that are coming from these countries that are not integrated to British values and British culture, and they're trying to sexually target. If you had a daughter, or if your wife was walking back past one of these migrant hotels and one of these migrants tried coming up to her and asking for sex, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" You'll be outraged.
Yeah.
And it's the same way these people, like the people in Epping, are protesting directly as a result of that happening. No child, no person in this country.
You completely understand that, though.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. Who are the people that you're bringing into this country?
That's
what
what
quality are they?
Probably
And
vetted,
this is a
documented.
this is a big difference as well. Your parents came to this country. My grandparents came to this country. They came here. They worked hard. They integrated into British society. They integrated into British culture. They took on British values, and they got their head down and worked hard. And a large part of the Indian community has done that and has done well in this country. I think what we're seeing now is something a bit different. It is not, maybe some of those people who are making their way here want to do that, but people are coming and committing crime straight away like that, stealing, and that's not, you're not contributing to society, you're making it worse. And the influx of, let's say, migrants, you could say society isn't having a net positive, it's having a net negative from it, which is why people are protesting and as such. The quality of people in a society is decreasing. And I know we spoke about this on a previous episode as well, but the manners, the courtesies of people, the way they treat public services, the way they the rubbish that they leave out. There's a house down there, and they're Indian. They are Indian who live there, and they've come from India, but they don't have the courtesy to keep their house clean outside. They let the fence fall down. They leave clothing outside. They leave a mattress outside. That's not contributing to the cleanliness of our society that we have around here.
Yeah.
Your parents wouldn't have.
No. But like, again, it takes time to grow into the culture as well. Like, you got to actually
the question is, but are these people willing to adapt, or are they trying to bring their own cultures here? I think it's the latter. I think people want to come to this country, get the benefits, but they don't want to adapt to the culture. They want to use their own ways of living in this country, and that's not right.
So what do you mean by their own ways of living?
If they feel it's fine to leave a mess outside of your house, we don't do that. This country doesn't do that. We have a social. There's a social contract that you have.
Yeah, looking after your home,
treating people well, being a good moral person. Like this is why we have decided to stay. Our parents and family hasn't decided to go back to India.
Yeah.
Because they like the life that we have here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a big part of it.
But there are some kind of things about cultures that are positive.
About what? Our culture?
About learning from different cultures, though. Do you understand?
Yeah, I agree. And I do have if someone is white British, and like, I think a lot of white British people respect the different cultures that there are in this country. A lot of people embrace them. Like, your friends are absolutely, they're white. A lot of them are white British, and I never felt any ounce of like I am different to them. Like they literally treated me like I'm exactly the same, if not more. Like there was none of that, and every other white British person I've met has generally been like that. I've never felt any tension with them. But I guess I made some like a lot of people of color who have come from other countries. Like I said, they do just want to get their head down, work hard, and live an honest life. And that has been the case for a good period of time.
Make a better life for them and their families.
And the Indian community has been a good example. There are going to be bad people within every community,
Yeah.
within Indian communities, within African communities, within white communities. They're going to do the sexual kind of things that we spoke about. Every community will have that because there's good and bad people. And I'm not one who lives in the past of events that have happened. And I used to be personally quite oblivious to this. But I think I never wanted to be a victim of the past. And like, there's some people who say, oh, Britain done this to these countries and now they owe us every right to take in all these immigrants. Like people do argue that.
I don't agree with that.
So you don't agree with that, but I was similar to you, but I do have a bit of, not, I guess, empathy that you did once have an empire that ruled the world and it did ruin people's lives. And I'll give an example from my being a Sikh in Punjab. I'm not deep into Sikh and Indian history like I told you, but in 1919 there were non-violent protests that took place from Sikhs predominantly in Punjab, in Amritsar to be particular. And the British just shot dead 1,500. It was estimated 1,500 people. It was in this kind of like circular, I don't know how to explain it, but it got labelled as a massacre. Yeah. The British army that were there, just 1,500 people shot dead up to, and then another 1,500 people also injured on top of that. Like there is some context that you occupied countries that were just existing and turned them upside down. Like you decided to create a partition and border and people had to move and reevaluate their lives. And that doesn't give people a precedence to come to your country, and it doesn't give them like a justified reason, but you have impacted other countries and have some context and awareness to that at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
I hear
it's just
your
a bit of
points.
context. Just have some understanding. I used to be like you. It doesn't give people a reason to kind of have the right to have reparations or such. Like I don't really believe in that because society is a much better place than it was back then. But I think, just have some context and understanding, and like people have had to come here because of those struggles at the same time.
Yes, okay, of course. Yeah, okay.
And there is a difference between...
I agree with that point, yes. There is... You've got to learn from everybody's different backgrounds. Everybody's going to have a different background where they come from. And you have to have an understanding. Again, I agree with migration because obviously we wouldn't be here. We are... our parents are migrated here, and I think it's been proven that it's a net positive overall. You're always going to have some stupid idiots within all cultures, but all migrants that are coming over in these boats, they need to be vetted, and like there should be a minimum level acceptance criteria.
Speaking English,
like. You can't say that.
Learning, not in that moment, but like willingness to learn English.
Yes, willingness to learn English, but you can't just say if you're not speaking English, you can't come to this country.
No, I'm not saying that.
But so the willingness is obviously they're gonna
like take English classes, like have a competency to like pass in English.
But so who's gonna fund this?
That's just my point of view. I'm not saying it should be funded in a certain way. I'm saying
because
people are coming.
These people are coming from a different country with absolutely nothing.
But right? they need some sort of... I think Denmark does this really. I think from what I've heard, Denmark does as well. But if you're coming, you have to not make a pledge, but you kind of show you need to do something to show you're invested into the values and culture of this country as like a commitment. You can't just come here and have a freebie and live and like create a mini India in your pocket and community of people. Does that make sense? You can have your culture, but show some pledge and commitment to the British values, the British system, and that you're contributing towards it. If that makes sense.
I agree with that.
Um,
But yeah, you can't just be like, yeah, no. They need to make hit a minimum. Like, if you have a criminal record or like you've been to a prison, I don't think we should be.
You don't know
accepting.
you don't know if these people are criminals. You don't know if they've done X, Y, Z.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. It's difficult to. These are undocumented people, so it's difficult to get a idea of their background, though.
And that goes back to my question: is the government that incompetent that they wouldn't want to do that?
But if they're undocumented,
wouldn't they want to try and vet them? Wouldn't they say,
but how,
you come on a boat?
How are they going to vet them? This guy who turns up, right, unsure, could be, he could say his name is David Beckham. You don't know if his real name is David Beckham or not. Do you know what I mean? It's because there's no documentation. It's just very difficult. It's a very complicated matter, to be honest with you. And you have to have a bit of human decency within you have to have a bit of human decency within the culture and give people a fair opportunity.
So who do you say no to? When is your line in the border? When is your line in the sand? Who do you say no to? There's no like...
Yeah, that's
what I said.
Yeah, it's
20 million people from X country.
So are you going to say no to everybody?
No, I'm a believer that people should be allowed in this country.
Yeah. So
and they should be supported.
How do you...
But there needs to be a more systemized and.
But what is that systemized way?
I'm not a government person to know.
But
that's not my job.
Just asked me that same question.
But I don't know. My solution
Yeah.
is that there needs to be a more systemized way where there's a criteria where it's more people that are contributing towards society, whether it's through their job status, their employment, their background. They can show proof of they've got a degree, they've got these skills. They can prove that they are this person.
That's probably the way to do it. If you can prove that actually I was an engineer in the country I've come from, here's my education certificate, X, Y, Z. You have some kind of documentation to prove that you actually say who
or you say
who you are.
You look at people, like you let them into the country and then you do a review, 1 year review. What have you done and contributed? Have you learned English? Have you gotten yourself a job? How much taxes have you paid after 1 year? Okay, then we do another 2 year review, 3 year review. Have you done some community service work to contribute to the British community and like get your kind of...
I think the simplest way is how much tax contribution have you given?
Yeah, that's a simple one.
Do you know what I mean?
But we're not thinking about it like that, and we're not politicians to do that. But if we move on, there's, I guess, the migrant hotels is the big thing. Recently, we saw Charlie Kirk being assassinated. What's your thoughts on that?
I think going back to the attempted assassination of Donald Trump last year, Charlie Kirk being assassinated, it's just, firstly, nobody should be killed for any political views. It's not that deep. People, it's just. But then again, I do feel like America's the Wild West at times. Like the same day, of Charlie Kirk's assassination, there was another school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So it just shows
my
you.
question,
It shows you the situation with the gun laws in America.
Yeah.
And something needs to be done. Like, what other countries, like in the UK, have you? Obviously, there was MP. She got murdered. She got stabbed a few years back in the UK.
But that was politically motivated.
But this is obviously politically motivated as well, right?
Yeah. You're talking about gun laws.
Yeah, but like how easy
is the issue gun laws or is it the issue people getting politically killed?
Both. There's people shouldn't be killed for their political beliefs,
mm-hmm.
and I think just this guy have a sniper,
I think it was a rifle.
a rifle, right? And just having the access to be able to assassinate someone, I think just
Yeah, but it's not about gun laws because in Stoke Newington, we're obviously legally not allowed guns in the UK, but people get shot in the UK. So if that person was, so the person who killed Charlie Kirk, he could have illegally obtained the gun, is what I'm saying. So I don't think it's an issue of gun laws.
it was. I believe it was like his granddad's rifle or something.
It's hard to, I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but
But maybe it would be more difficult to assassinate someone if it was more difficult to
obtain guns. Yeah, I do get that. But people
Pardon me.
have guns in this country. Like I think a couple of days ago, someone got shot in a park in a broad daylight. I think the thing is it is crazy what happened to Charlie Kirk, but at the same time, people in other areas of the world are being shot for getting aid in the middle of a war that they are for.
Yeah.
So
If you put it into that kind of context, though,
like I don't know, like everyone's Charlie Kirk's dead, but people are getting shot for just getting aid because they're in the middle of a war. One life is equal to another life, and one isn't over another. So at the same time, one is a martyr, but then we forget about all the other innocent people that are just in the middle of a war, and that they shouldn't be dying. Does that make sense?
That makes
I guess
sense,
the context is that he was given a public talk and he got assassinated in front of everyone. Yeah, in a Western democracy, in a country like the US, which is like fair enough, that's terrible. You don't want to just be killed over having your free speech, but these people are literally trying to get food to survive and they're being shot at the same time. So it's a bit of a, like, you need to look at it with context of everything that's happening in the world as well.
I think I agree. No, I completely agree with what you said. There should be compassion. There's been a lot of compassion for Charlie Kirk's death, as there should be, but the same compassion should be shown to
Innocent people losing their lives
literally.
for no reason. And one of the things Charlie Kirk spoke about was pro-gun laws. He was pro having guns.
He's very pro-gun law,
I'm pretty sure he said something along the lines of, if we lose a few people to gun deaths, then I'm pro having it. And he's a byproduct of that at the end of the day. And you can't have those opinions and not let them apply to yourself. They have to apply to you as well.
Yeah.
But no person should be assassinated in public. Oh,
Well,
yeah. And then we had the United the Kingdom march.
yeah, we did.
Oh, Tommy Robinson. Tommy.
So you pro Tommy?
Tommy Robinson. What do you think?
Yeah, he's not a fan.
You know what, Tommy Robinson reps the Sikhs, innit? He says he likes the Sikhs. He says they're good people. So you know what? He ain't here to have one over me.
Okay.
Nice.
So if you're pro Tommy, were you not at the march?
No, I got injured my knee.
You injured your knee. So if he did
was at
injure your
home.
knee, would you have gone?
Huh?
Would you have gone to the
Yeah,
march?
I'm like, oh, Tommy.
Would you have gone to the march?
Tommy Robin.
Would you have gone to the march?
Nah. I can understand why people are there. I can understand.
But do you think you would have been welcomed to the march?
Yeah, there were coloured people. There's bare coloured people. There were bare coloured. There's black people there, brown people there. There's bare people there.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you're coloured, let me get rid of you. They don't. I think people have this idea.
But there was a lot of videos circulating of like saying people of that colour, of our colour, shouldn't be in this country.
I think it goes back to what we said.
From that march.
I think it goes back to what we said before. White British people, I feel they are welcoming of. Most of them are welcoming of communities.
Yeah.
And people I've seen that express that view where they don't want migrants and they may go to this say protest, they will also express their acceptance of people who come to this country and integrate into British values. But there will also be people within that I've seen as well, disgusting people that say, yeah, any person who came to this country, any person who's a person of color just needs to go and be deported back, regardless of if they're a doctor, if they're a lawyer, if they've paid taxes their whole life and done everything legally. Yeah. There will be subsets within that are like that. But if everyone from India started saying we want to go live in a different part of the world, they'll be like, what are you doing? They'll be like, what are you doing? Get out of our country. If you think about it, only the West is accepting and tolerating of integrating other cultures. If 20 million Indians said, yeah, we want to start migrating to China, whatever, after a certain point, that country is going to be like, wait, there's so many of you in our country.
What?
So yeah, what are your thoughts on the march in summary? Do you think it's logical? You can see why people are protesting?
I understand why people went to these march. Completely understand. Obviously, you have some people who are very far right that I don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, obviously there is a lot of fear and concern regarding the current immigration policy. So yeah, I do concur.
Yeah, my summary and thoughts is that politics is just stupid. I think it's just stupid having these two different divisions. I think if you're all interested in uniting a country, you shouldn't have these two sides fighting against each other. I think you should just always have the best interest. And with that said,
by the way, I just want to just to reiterate, I don't agree with Tommy Robinson.
Yeah,
I'm not a believer of Tommy Robinson at all.
Yeah, me singing Tommy Robinson is just a joke. It's not.
Yeah, I don't agree with his views or nothing. I agree with people who went to the protest, not for Tommy Robinson, but to show their concerns about the current immigration laws.
I don't think it was just immigration. I think it's just in terms of the wider things we've spoken about, in terms of the financial side of things as well, things like that. I think it is wider than just immigration.
Okay, I think majority of people went there for it was due to the immigration status. That's what most of my videos, what I saw, is due to that. And secondly, I do not. As I said, I agree with those people who went there to show their concerns about the current policy. Don't agree with Tommy Robinson. I don't agree with Elon Musk. I don't understand why Elon Musk was there and why he spouted the words. What was it? Violence is coming to you. You can either fight or die.
He said that?
Yes. Did you not?
No, I didn't.
Did you not see this?
I don't try to get involved too much in politics. I can't.
But you have strong opinions, so
yeah,
you should.
It's a bit.
You should be.
If you can go down rabbit holes, you can go down rabbit holes.
But what do you think he means by saying that?
He's saying to the left, violence is coming to you, because he's obviously on the right.
Yeah.
So I think he's targeting whoever's on the left.
Well, he's got Tommy Robinson on the stage, Elon Musk projecting on his blue screen, talking to the crowd. I think I've got it written down.
Politics is a waste of time, man.
You say that whilst we're having a debate about it.
Yeah, it is though. Like, everyone should just have the best interest of the country. That's it. Yeah. There should be one party, and we're all working towards the best interest of the country.
His words were, "Violence is coming to you. You either fight back or die." I'm just.
Maybe he's saying to the people there that violence is coming to them and they need to stand up.
What violence?
I don't know. Maybe from the assassination, he's using that as a reference. Because obviously he's in America, right? And they see themselves, the way that they saw Charlie Kirk's death is that it's an attack on the right.
I understand that.
That's the way that they see it.
But they're pretty strong words. And have there been any assassinations of any people on the right within this country?
No.
I'm aware of.
I think this whole political spectrum of the left and right is BS. Someone can be in a, you're just put into stupid boxes. Like, I'm someone who says everyone should be supported from a welfare point of view in this country, and no one should go below a certain minimum baseline. That's typically on the left-hand side. I might say, though, however, maybe we should consider the people that are entered into this country, because it can impact those in our society and us. That's going to be put in a box to the right-hand side.
But going back to that point of you, what do you say? All people should have a minimum.
Yeah, a minimum baseline.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But that's on the left. But then if you say, oh, we should consider our borders to ensure our society is safe and robust, people are going to be like, oh, you're on the right-hand side. It's just like, don't let people put you in these boxes. Just be a good human being. Just try to be a good, considerate human being.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is, don't be ignorant. Try and learn from other people and educate yourself and listen to other people's side of the story.
Be open-minded.
Be open-minded. Don't just...
You're not going to be right. Like, I don't know anything. I don't really... But it's about...
And don't accept everything at face value.
Yeah.
Because going back to your point that they're receiving technology, iPhones, everything...
I could be chatting shit. I could be chatting shit.
I've seen that. I actually looked it up, and actually, no. Charitable organisations might be able to provide some kind of technology or something, but it's not coming from the government.
Yeah, just because information is coming at me, like some of the stuff that I said in here could just be information that I've seen online and it is completely false.
But we live in a current world where there's loads of misinformation.
Yeah.
So much. So you have to be critical thinkers. But yeah, let's wrap it up there.